make sure to click thumbs up and subscribe. Subscribe because I saw only 20% of my viewers are subscribers. For the 80% of you watching, you want more content like this? Click it. Yes, I know, pumping out a lot of content in the past few days. Last night I watched what I can only describe as the most profound and inspirational video I've ever seen in my life. It was a 2-hour podcast hosted by one of my idols, Joe Rogan, with a guy I honestly had never heard of before. His name is David Goggins. And David Goggins he's crowned as the toughest person on earth. And I understand now. I watched the whole 2 hours with my mouth just, I couldn't believe the words he was saying that were so deeply true and so disturbingly true, because he was saying things that we all know but we choose not to admit. And it kind of made me think that the number one obstacle to achieving anything, including becoming a millionaire, it's literally only your mindset. It's this boundary where most people arrive at and they want to quit. And it's what you do when you want to quit that really defines how successful you can be. The most successful people in the world, they can push that boundary further and further, and they can sort of withstand that stress, that anxiety, and all that pain, because it's suffering. Achieving success is suffering. It's not a joyride. If it was fun, everybody would be doing it, right? Everybody would be a millionaire. Everybody would be here in Hawaii. Everybody would have their own little YouTube channel talking shit, like Beta Coach over here. But yeah, I couldn't sleep after that video because it blew my mind so bad. This guy, his story is so incredible. It almost brought me to tears. I could really relate to it, and he made me feel like I am weak, and I really enjoyed that because I actually believed I was rather tough and that my mind was quite calloused from all the difficult experiences I put myself through in my life. But he put it in perspective where it made me realize I have so much more potential, and that everybody watching, you have so much more potential, but your mind is weak, and it forces you to quit when you could keep going. So I was thinking to myself, like, what is the real key to becoming a millionaire? And it's honestly, it's pushing through those feelings of wanting to quit, that uncertainty, that feeling that everybody else knows what they're doing that's been successful and you are missing something. No, nobody knows. Everybody's just improvising every day. Same with me. And so I wanted to make a video because there's so much bullshit out there, like motivational stuff. Even sometimes I get motivated for a second and then I just forget about it. And I'm sure you guys are guilty of it too. And I want to talk about, you know, it may sound negative, but it's just, I want to talk about cold hard facts as to why you will likely never ever become a millionaire, whether or not you want to. And you know, I'm not saying becoming a millionaire is a good thing. I'm not saying that everybody should want to do it. Some people do it for the money, some people do it for the status, some people do it for the sense of accomplishment. I personally do it because, like I've said many times before, I'm a gamer and there's no better game than business. I'm up against the best players in the world, the most successful companies. I'm the underdog from Poland who's trying to shake shit up, and that's what drives me. I'm an insurgent. I like disrupting. That's what gets me, you know, that's what gets my fire going. And it gets me, you know, to go through the hardest times as well. But not everybody's able to do that. And going back to the point of, you know, being a millionaire or not being a millionaire, I don't think it's a good thing to have as a goal, actually. It's a very stressful endeavor. It requires extreme sacrifice, extreme discipline. Like, you're gonna have some of the lowest moments in your life trying to achieve that goal. And honestly, I don't feel I'm any happier being wealthier. You don't need much to be happy. So But I'm not gonna go down that path. This video is strictly as to why you will likely never be a millionaire, because nobody has the, I'm not gonna say balls to tell you that, but nobody has the, nobody says the truth, you know? Everybody's trying to be inspirational and motivational in this fluffy, cute way, but the cold hard truth is most of us will never amount to much. Most of us will always be mediocre because our minds are weak and we are not able to push through difficult times. Instead of going to the gym, instead of running, you rather lay on the couch, you rather watch Netflix, you know, you rather be comfortable than be uncomfortable. But to be successful, especially extraordinary successful, you have to learn to deal with massive discomfort, with massive amounts of pain and uncertainty and loneliness. It's not a joyride. It's nice when you get to the top, but it's not a joyride. So I've been doing a bit of research. Actually, these statistics are pretty fascinating. I never bothered actually looking into this, but I was looking to find how many millionaires there are in the world, how many millionaires there are in Poland, and how many millionaires are there in the US, and what is the #1 country with the largest percentage of millionaires per capita. I'm curious if you could guess. So let's start with the statistics of why you will never become a millionaire. In the world, we have 33 million millionaires, which means that around 0.5%, or 1 out of 200 people in the world are millionaires. In the US, it's 5%, so 1 out of 20. And the #1 country is actually now Switzerland, with 12.7% of the population being millionaires. Poland has 33,000, which means if you're Polish, statistically, you have a 1 out of 1,000 chance of becoming a millionaire. They're not very encouraging, I know, but if you're like me, you can use odds that are against you in your mind to flip it and to just motivate the shit out of you. Like, that's what gets me to continue struggling with my business, because, you know, it's a struggle. Everybody thinks I'm like magically motivated. No, I am driven. I have a goal to build a $1 billion company. Don't ask me why, it's pretty arbitrary. And I'm gonna do it. It's very unlikely, you know, because there's like a handful of self-made billionaires in the world, especially like out of Eastern Europe. There's probably none. But I am able to use odds that are against me in my own head to drive myself to continue pushing my boundaries. And I think that's the #1 thing that most people lack, is that ability to just have this internal sort of, how to describe it, like just immunity to the outside world, to all the negative energy, to the haters, and just have like just tunnel vision and just being driven regardless of how you feel. Often days I don't want to work. I don't want to hustle. Like, I am disciplined and driven, and I keep doing it. It's like a constant swim upstream. It's never ending. It's you know, I have constant anxiety. I'm trying to like meditate out here to just like calm my mind. That's one of the reasons I had to come to Hawaii, because I was losing my mind. I had opened too many big projects at one time, and it became very overwhelming for me. So, you know, those are the things that you have to ask yourself. Like, are you able to have that internal sort of dialogue and that process to become a driven individual? And forget about being a millionaire for a second. Regardless of what your goals are you able to conquer all obstacles and see no problems and only challenges to continue going forward? Very few people are able to do that, or are able to get to that point to be able to do that. Because I was a pussy, like when I was younger. I was a loser. I was lazy. I was a shitty student. I wasn't eating healthy. I wasn't really working out. I was doing some stuff on the computer, like, but mostly just playing games. I was a total loser until my early 20s, where I discovered, you know, hey, it's all up to me. Nobody's gonna help me in this world. Everybody's living their own life in their own little bubble, you know, even if someone cares about you for a second, they're gonna forget the next. They're gonna go back thinking about their own problems. Even people that are close to you, nobody really gives a shit about how you feel. So if you're able to internalize that and channel that energy to become self-driven and self-propelled, and regardless of what your surroundings are, you're always like just focused on what you want to achieve and doing it for yourself, not to prove it to the world, because that's, I think, it's a very misleading way to go about life, is trying to prove your worth to others. I've been there. It doesn't get you anywhere. You have to learn to do things, pretty much everything, for yourself. To find out who you really are, you only find out who you are in the most difficult moments in life, in the most challenging moments where you want to give up, where you're broken. Like, I've had breakdowns, I've had days when I didn't go to the office, like, but those are the days where you really have an internal sort of dialogue, and you start figuring out what makes you tick, why are you doing this in the first place, what is the purpose of your life. And you know, these are the questions I continue to ask myself. That's why I read so much. That's why I stay off of social media, to not be influenced by like other people's bullshit. I really try to define my own sort of environment, and in terms of my mindset and how I perceive things. And wow, I've talked for a while. Yeah, that's my little rant. That video I watched, like, you have to watch that video. It's the best thing. I'm gonna watch it again maybe tonight, because it just blew my mind. This guy says this, all the things that we're afraid of admitting, and he says it in such a hardcore yet articulate manner. Utmost respect for Mr. Goggins. I mean, this guy, like, I'm thinking of, I signed up for a marathon in December, for the LA Marathon. It's in March. It's in 2 weeks. And this guy has inspired me to try to do it without training. I haven't ran at all since I signed up. It made me realize I'm lazy, I'm weak, and I need to improve myself as well, because whatever I've achieved, it's not good enough for me. I don't care what anyone else thinks, and you need to learn to think the same way, because that's the only way to survive in this messed up, judgmental world we live in, is to just create your own sort of space and realize that you're the only one responsible for everything in your life. Extreme ownership is what some people call it. Jocko calls it extreme ownership of everything that's wrong, everything that's right in your life. You are responsible for it. You can change whatever it is that's bothering you. You can either change it, you can accept it, or you can ignore it. Those are the choices you have, but most people choose yet to complain, to blame, to point fingers, to be bitter and negative. There's so many people out there, and that's why the stats are against you to becoming a millionaire. And you know, I'd love you to prove me wrong. You know, think of those stats and think about being, if you're Polish and watching this, you want to be the one person out of 1,000 that's a millionaire. That's amazing. Do it. Go out there and do it. You know, Poland has so much potential, yet our mindsets, because of our sad history, are a little bit, I would say, just a little bit undeveloped in those terms. But that will change, because we're a nation that survives the most dire circumstances, and we just need a bit of time to get our shit back together after everything we've been through. I'm done ranting. I hope some of you enjoyed this. As always, click subscribe. Like, I feel I have a lot of shit to share, but you know, my goal is just to try to spread truth, spread inspiration, and just do things a little bit differently, because nobody tells me what to do, luckily, and that's the biggest blessing of my life, is that I get to speak from my heart, from my soul, with no bullshit, no filter, and that's what you're gonna be getting from me. So click subscribe. I think it's here, maybe it's here, I don't know. I gotta go. See you next time.